Welcome to Baking Blind with Penny. Christmas cakes. Part 1. Introducing fruit. Hello again. Today, Christmas cakes. And I'm going to make loads and loads and loads of them, but they're all going to be pretty small so they don't cook for quite so long. And Christmas cakes are actually pretty simple. It's just a Victoria sponge holding an awful lot of fruit and nuts together. None of it is tricky, but it is about preparation. So in here I've got all my fruit, so that's all ready. Here I've got my nuts, and you can buy obviously slithered almonds and things like that, but I've cut them all by hand so they're a bit chunkier. Part 2. Mixing. As I said, this is just a straightforward Victoria sponge mix. So I've got a pound of butter in here, and different from a Victoria sponge, there's a pound of soft brown sugar going in, and that lot is going to cream until it's light and fluffy. That looks, well, I say looks, I expect that's about right. We've given it 3 good beats and some scrape downs, so let's see how we're doing. I think it could do with another scrape down. I'm hoping that looks light and fluffy. I'm going to start adding some eggs. Part 3. Adding eggs. With each egg I'm going to add a little flour, so that I don't risk curdling it. And this was the same weight of eggs to flour and sugar and butter. Which is again just like a Victoria sponge, but I'm going to add an extra egg for luck. This is always a tricky bit when you can't see it. You end up with batter all over the place. And 6 eggs later. Last 2 eggs. I'm going to count the eggshells in a second. Just make sure I put in 8. All the eggshells, and there were 8 eggs in there, so I'm okay for that. Now I'm going to heat up the spoon to try and put the treacle in. I've just washed my hands because I was getting pretty sticky. I'm just waiting for the spoon to heat up the handle. And this is a bit of an experiment, but hopefully it'll work. Let's see if this does it. Let's dry it off. Find that treacle. No, there it is. Right, fingers crossed. 1. 2. Generous take dessert spoons of treacle. I'm just going to put the lid back on before I knock it over and we get treacle all over the floor.
So what are you doing?
There's the treacle being mixed in. Right, that is all our beating done. I'm going to fold in the flour. As I said before, this is a pound of flour matching the amount of sugar and butter. And this is just ordinary plain flour, plain wheat flour. But I've made this recipe for years with a gluten-free flour, and with it's just as successful. Just one of those packets you can buy. Which was for my mother who couldn't eat wheat. I'm just adding, or try not to add, that's 2 teaspoonfuls of ground nutmeg, which I just sat and ground this morning. So it all smells great. And here comes 2 heaped teaspoonfuls of ground spice. 1, 2. The wheat-free flour doesn't rise quite so well, but you're only talking half a centimetre shorter, so it doesn't really matter. Right, I'm going to stop there.
Part 4. Folding in the fruit.
Now I'm going to start putting it all together. So I've got a big fresh bowl, and I'm going to put, there's some of the cake batter in the bottom. And you'll see that I'm using my hands a lot, but it gives me a chance to feel and measure where I am and know where I am in the kitchen in the bowl. And that's why I keep washing my hands all the time. Probably washed my hands about 3-4 times already just with this recipe. And this is why I keep them washed, because I'm going to take a handful of our, or a couple of handfuls of our fruit. Can you hear it dripping? That's brandy and orange juice and lemon juice, and it smells great. There's some nuts going in, and this is just so I can fold the fruit in without beating all of the mixture to death and knocking all the air out of it. So there's the first one, just a loose little mix in there. And I can hear something's just fallen out of my bowl. And there goes another one. So I'm now trying to get the last scrapes out of the bowl. And that's not the easiest thing for me to do when I can't see what's in there. I'm going to get them off the spatula. And so really in this big bowl here, I've got different layers of fruit and cake batter, and I've switched to a palette knife so that I can fold them through. How's that looking? Reasonably mixed?
Yeah, it's looking good.
Excellent, it's smelling good, and I'm still covered again with stickiness, so I'm going to stop and wash my hands yet again. Okay, these are pork pie tins that I make pork pies with in the summer, which I've just buttered, which is to make the parchment paper stick, and then put a circle of hand cut, really difficult parchment at the bottom, and then
How high from the top of the tin?
I'm taking it right to the top, so I've got it reasonably flat. I want a little dip in the middle because that's where it'll rise, and I'm trying to keep it, when it's finished, fairly flat because that's easier for decorating. So there's the first one done.
Part 5. For cooking.
What's the oven setting, Penny?
Gas mark 1.
And how long do you expect them to be in there for?
Oh, a couple of hours at least.
2 hours later.
So I've literally just got these out of the oven. We'll have a look at them. These have both been on the top shelf, gas mark 1, for just 2 hours. And these were in the other oven, again, for just under 2 hours, but of course they're smaller. Next time we're going to do decorating, and if you thought today was sticky, just wait.
Download my recipes from my blog at www.disabilitydynamics.co.uk.